Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help mental health professionals grow their dream practices and live a life they love. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building tips. We invite you to take advantage of our private practice paperwork and our signature marketing e-course. And we have a gift for you. This is the exact methodology we use to create our six-figure private pay practices and have helped many other therapists do the same. Go to privatepracticestartup.com and on the homepage, click the button to download a free copy of your dream private practice playbook. Now on to today's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of You've Got It, the Private Practice Startup Podcast. We hope you guys are doing fantastic today in this month of April, if you're listening to it for the first time of 2023. But if you're not, because that's how podcasts go. So today, Kate and I are going to dive in and talk about how to create more freedom in your business. Share a little bit about our stories, but also kind of our blueprint for that. But we hope that you guys joined us last week as we had third-time guest and friend Patrick Casal back on the podcast, talking about hosting private practice retreats, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So definitely check that out if you are interested in hosting retreats and, learn from Patrick and what he has to share. So I would say we need no introduction, right?
Hopefully you all know who we are as Kate and Katie of the Private Practice Startup, but maybe this is your first time listening. So welcome, and we're glad that you're here.
Yeah. So before we dive in to share about this topic, let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor. As a therapist, I can tell you from experience that having the right EHR is an absolute lifeline. I recommend using Therapy Notes. They make billing, scheduling, note-taking, telehealth, and e-prescribing incredibly easy. Best of all, they offer live telephone support that's available 7 days a week. Look, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Therapy Notes is the #1 highest rated EHR available today with 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and Google. Go to therapynotes.com and enter code PPS as in Private Practice Startup and receive a special 2-month trial, absolutely free. And hey, if you're coming from another EHR, no worries. Therapy Notes will import your demographic data quick and easy at no cost to you so you can get started right away. Trust me, don't waste any more of your time. Go to therapynotes.com and enter code PPS for your 2-month free trial. Well, thank you to our sponsor. And Kate, where do you want to start?
I love this topic. I don't know about you all, but a big reason why I always knew I wanted to go into private practice is because I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to have the freedom and flexibility to create the business that I wanted to have. I didn't want to have to work for anybody else. I come from this family of entrepreneurs. And although I didn't really know much about business, and I had to learn a lot of things the hard way back in 2006 when I first dove into private practice head first, the desire was to be able to have the freedom and to have a business that could evolve with me as I went through different phases of life and eventually went on to have kids and family, and your needs change a little bit and business changes. And I wanted to be able to work less hours and not be a slave to the business and having to work so hard to make ends meet financially. So I really wanted to have that financial freedom, time freedom, schedule freedom, the freedom to make my own decisions with the types of clients that I was types of clients that I was seeing. So the freedom of choice. So I wanted to have that level of control and freedom and flexibility in my business. And that's really what drove me to be in private practice in the first place. Katie, what about you?
What drove me to be in private practice? Or are you just talking about
I'm just curious, well, I guess, yeah, sure. Tell us a little bit about what drove you into private practice and how freedom is something that's important to you and being a business owner.
Yeah. So freedom is like one of my #1 values next to integrity for sure. So whether it's financial freedom, freedom of time, that's also very important to me. But interestingly enough, my journey was a little bit different. It was kind of my staff at the time in community mental health was kind of pushing me out, saying, you're too good to be here. And, being in private practice was the quote unquote next right step, even though I was scared to death of business. I have grown to absolutely love business, and there would be nothing else I would rather do. But just like Kate, I stepped into business not knowing anything about business and really working hard, and the business was running me. And it really took some time to step back. And, one of the things that Kate and I talk about in our e-course and marketing program, and, when people join that at the beginning, I feel like they're at an advantage, because one of the first things we do is we talk about your values and being in alignment to your values. I, again, didn't know anything about business or marketing or anything like that. So I really didn't look at my values for myself and being in business and seeing how they were aligned or not. And I do remember the day, I don't remember the date in the calendar, but I remember the day where I realized, my business was really running me and I wasn't running my business, and really creating, my life around my business, not my business. Wait, did I say that right? Yeah. No, my business around my life. That's what I meant to say. Right. Rather than the other way around. And I remember literally sitting down, going to Word and printing off a calendar and writing what my schedule looked like the reality of my schedule. Right. And then creating the schedule that I wanted. And then, I began just shifting things around. It was so important. And interestingly enough, I'm in the growth phase of another business, and, my coach had said to me, the most successful people schedule time to think at least 2 hours a week. And I can't say enough about that as a business owner, is taking that time, whether it's planning out the next quarter or going away for a weekend or on vacation, but taking whatever it is for you, is taking that time to really think, because that's where the magic happens. I believe in business. You create new ideas or programs or things for your business. But if you don't take that time to just step away and create, you're just doing, without really intention sometimes. So it's really important. But, our second tip is really creating your ideal schedule. So that's how I created mine. And then just began to, during that thinking time, just began adjusting things. And it was really, really important. And, when I was doing private practice full time, I constructed my schedule where it was Monday evenings. So I would do half day Monday, afternoon, evening, Wednesday evening, and Thursday I was out at 2. So many long weekends away. It never interrupted my work schedule. It was amazing.
And you were working 3 days a week and making over 6 figures. Yeah, three half days making over 6 figures, and really having the freedom and flexibility to travel and invest your time in other businesses and side hustles that grew into, mega businesses. And, it's really cool how that happens. There's so many things that you said, Katie, that stood out that I wanted to just kind of come back to, because so often in business, we will dive right in headfirst and jump into strategy and try to, get as many clients as we can possibly see and all of that. But what Katie and I teach in our e-course and coaching program is that it's so important to take that step back and work on the foundation of your business and really creating, getting clear on what your values are so that you can build your business that's in alignment with those. And then, like Katie was saying, to really get clear on your ideal schedule and what is that going to look like. So if it's working three days a week, and then taking time to travel, or building your business around a time that's going to work. If you have young kids and you want to be home and want to be present with them in the afternoons after school, and in the evenings, whatever it is that your dream schedule is, take the time to get clear on that, and then work backwards from how much do you want to make in a year to cover your expenses, to live the lifestyle that you want to live, to travel, whatever it is that you want your dream life to look like, and then determine what your fee is going to be based on how many sessions you want to be seeing a week, based on your expertise, based on all of those numbers, and take that really informed approach so that you are building a business that is in alignment with you, your lifestyle, your family, as it is now, and your goals for the future. And business will evolve with you over time. And when you're in control of your business and you're creating that freedom in your business for you to have the business that works best for you, it keeps your passion alive. It keeps you in this amazing relationship with your business, and your business isn't running you ragged.
True. Very true. And one thing that I always find, Kate, I feel business is very counterintuitive, right? It's what you said, like the default way of being is jumping in and do, right? But the counterintuitive part, it feels like, oh, well, well, let me create my ideal schedule first and fit that in. And then, oh, wait, let me see how much I want to make. I see a lot of times therapists will like, well, how much do people charge for this or whatever, rather than asking and working backwards. I just wanted to, before we continue, I just want to take a quick moment for our sponsor. Startup Nation, there are a lot of perks of being a private practice owner, and doing your own bookkeeping and taxes is definitely not one of them. How much should I pay myself? How much should I save for taxes? Do I have to pay quarterly taxes? These are questions we hear from therapists all the time, and that's why we partnered with the folks at Herd to help you manage your private practice finances. On average, Herd saves therapists 60 hours per year in financial record keeping and $5,000 in taxes. How many more clients could you see if you got your 60 hours back? And by the way, when you join Herd, you get access to a team of tax pros who will guide you on your journey as you build your business. With peace of mind about your business finances, you can put more energy into client care where it matters the most. Schedule your free 15-minute consultation today. Go to joinherd.com/private practice startup and use code startup at checkout before the end of April to get 1 month free when you sign up with an annual commitment. Again, that's joinherd.com/private practice startup and use code startup at checkout.
Are you tired of running to the lobby to see if your next appointment has arrived? Would you like a more discreet, stress-free way for your clients to check in? Take a deep breath. The Receptionist for iPad empowers your practice to create a Zen-like check-in experience. This episode is sponsored by the Receptionist for iPad. It's the highest rated digital check-in software for therapy offices and behavioral health clinics, used by thousands of private practitioners across the country, including many who are just getting started. The Receptionist for iPad is a simple, inexpensive way to allow your clients to discreetly check in, to notify providers of a client's arrival, and to ensure your front lobby area is stress-free. The software sends an immediate notification to the therapist when a client checks in and can even ask if any client information has changed since their last visit. Start your 14-day free trial of the Receptionist for iPad by going to thereceptionist.com/PPS, as in private practice startup. And when you do, you'll also get your first month for free when you sign up. That's thereceptionist.com/PPS.
Another thing too, as you begin to grow in your business and you're looking at marketing and, I blame school, I blame education for this. Education teaches us to be the jack of all trades and master of none. Of course, as we get into our master's and doctorate degrees, yes, we're mastering something, but our education and system doesn't really honor utilizing our natural talents and strengths from the get, right? So we just kind of have this default way of being. And so we're trying to do all the things. Like, you're trying to be a web designer when you could care less about technology, or you have no idea about graphics. And then you've spent an hour and a half trying to figure out one Canva image. That's a waste of time unless you enjoy that, or you're good, or you're naturally great at that. But when you're a business owner, you're a web designer and a graphic designer, and you're also an accountant. And now you're a marketer. Oh, don't forget being a salesperson, because now you got to figure out the phone calls. Oh, and you got to see clients. Like, there's so much that goes into being a business owner, because you're a business owner plus whatever you do. So Kate and I always recommend, and hopefully as you're listening to this, maybe there'll be some relief here, is just to identify your natural strengths and talents and begin to outsource the rest. We know that if you're in the bootstrapping phase, money is low, so you're investing a lot of time. But as you begin to gain more money in your practice, we definitely recommend outsourcing what you're not good at. Kate has lied and said, I'll never make a website again. And she's fallen into that. But she has outsourced that as well. But it's just really important to do those things and stick to what you do well.
Yeah, I mean, figuring out your strengths and natural talents and staying in alignment with that is something that is so tied to having more freedom in your business. It really is, because if you try and bootstrap and do everything yourself, even though you hate it, you're super slow at it, you're, trying your hardest to figure it out, but it's miserable, you're dreading it, that is, you're trapped in your business if you're trying to do that. So be able to be smart and strategic about this. And if you think about your hourly rate of what you're charging your clients for session, and your hourly rate trying to figure out how to build a website and do SEO and make it look pretty so that it's speaking to your ideal clients, and writing copy and also speaking the language of Google, I mean, you're spending weeks and months and sometimes years trying to get that accomplished when somebody else could be doing that and you're paying them less than your hourly rate. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So we want you to be smart and strategic about the things that you are doing in your business that are going to help push the needle forward, and allowing other people who are better at it, quicker at it, faster at it, and can really help that needle move forward faster so that you can focus on the areas of your business that you absolutely love. Maybe it's seeing clients. Maybe you love networking and, speaking engagements or other areas that you really excel at. Focus on what you excel at and create the systems so that the other aspects you can outsource and delegate that to somebody else to take it off of your plate, to free up more time and allow you to make more money in your business. Because when your time is not bogged down with all of the other stuff that slows you down, you're able to focus on more revenue producing opportunities.
And then the next phase would really be to, depending on where you want your business to go. I mean, you still can be a solopreneur, but have a team, right? Maybe you have someone answering the intake calls or someone, doing all your marketing. So you still have a team, but you might want to grow into a group practice or another arena. And really, having more time, money, freedom is being able to hire, train, and grow your practice. And one of those things, which I think is one of the things that just seem really difficult, but honestly, if you're the business owner, you have to do it. It's systemizing your business. It is time consuming. For those of you who've listened for a long time, you all know I love systems, but I'm not going to lie, it's exhausting because you need a big chunk of time to really think through every aspect of your business. If you touch it, talk to it, or do it, you need to document it. And how are you going to explain this to someone else? How are they going to take it over? Many times I feel like, business owners, they hire someone and it's what it reminds me of? How many of you have had this experience? You worked in community mental health or a hospital or whatever you worked in before you were in private practice. You came in and then just slid you over a stack of files and we're like, go to it, right? So a lot of times when people are hiring a team member, that's what they do because they're so relieved to get something off their plate. But that's the worst thing you can do is, when you're growing, is the training aspect and communication and expectations and tweaking is so, so very important. So setting up systems to be able to allow for that, as well as mistakes. If you're working with other people in your business, mistakes are going to happen. And how are you going to handle that? How are you going to communicate about that? Those things are really important.
Yeah, systemizing is a process. It's like climbing a mountain on the front end, but once it's done and it's systemized, it gives you so much more time and so much more freedom in your business to focus on other areas because then it's streamlined and it just runs itself. And so it's definitely something that's really important to do for sure.
Yes. And this is interesting that we're doing this podcast before our next podcast, which is actually how to scale and sell your private practice. So I feel like we kind of talked about this podcast right up into the next podcast. So we got to talk with Gabrielle Giuliano Vigliani, and she actually scaled and sold her private practice. So if that's something that you're interested in, that is a great podcast to listen to. But before we close out, Kate, did you have any other final thoughts about our topic today?
No, it's interesting how the one before we were talking about with Patrick about having more freedom and retreats and traveling the world and getting paid. And here we are talking about creating more freedom in your business and different important ways to support you in that journey. And then if creating more freedom looks for you like scaling and selling your private practice, then you definitely need to have those streamlined systems. You need to have all of that really tight. And so we want to encourage you to focus on that. We hope today's episode was useful for you as you think about really being more intentional about creating that freedom, being more in alignment with all of these different aspects that you're in charge of and you're in control, and you can make these decisions so that you have a business that you love and not a business that wears you down and leaves you feeling drained and exhausted. We want you to have an amazing relationship with your business that supports the life that you love and live. And if you need more support in that area, we definitely can help you out with that with our marketing e-course and coaching program. So you'll have to check out the link for that information, and we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode. In the meantime, everybody, stay inspired.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.